Carried. And we have a fantastic presentation, I believe, to start us off with Hagley colleague. And we have Mike Fowler, Surinder Tandon, sorry, I haven't got my glasses on, Alia Afzali and Tifan, is it? Come forward, please. Good morning, welcome.
Tēnā koutou te kuhuniera o Tutahi, ko tōma nei I ronga I te kaupapa o te rā. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Marina, salam, ni haui, prive, konnichiwa, namaste. Good morning. I'm Mike Fowler, I'm Principal at Hagley. Presenting with me today, Dr. Surinder Tandon, who is the President of the Christchurch Multicultural Council, Alia Afzali, representing the Afghani community, Taipan, who is the Hagley Diversity Manager. I'd also like to acknowledge our supporters, many of them colourful, who are with us here today too. And we are speaking on behalf of Hagley, of communities and organisations who support a multicultural centre being developed at Hagley for refugee and migrant people across our city. I'd like to begin, if I could, if we may, with a short video, CTV video.
This Christchurch secondary school could be one of the most diverse in the country. With 65 different ethnic groups representing more than 100 different languages, Hagley Community College held a day of celebration with dance and displays and, of course, great food. And if you're still hungry after the food runs out, you can eat the plates. Hagley College Diversity Support Manager Tai Pan says the International Day was a chance for students from different nationalities to celebrate their culture.
From like Vietnam, China, Korean, Japan, Philippines, Samoan, Tongan, and Bhutan, Nepal, you can name it, Afghanistan, Kurdish, yeah, so many. So therefore you see that as we have 10 different classroom is open to welcome and to show all these things. And you can see that it's not only a physical space, but also that the place that they sense belonging to. And that is they own the place. So therefore in each classroom here, you can see that they really highlight the sense of belongings. They say this is Filipinos corner, this is the Samoan corner. So the sense of belonging is very important.
Star.Kiwi reported in January, Hagley College has put forward plans for a new purpose-built multicultural centre and is vying to get some funding from the City Council.
We really need to have a multicultural centre in place, and this is in the right track. We are now submitting a proposal, and also that is the feedback of the consultations from the community to the City Council, and we hope that we can raise our voice and our project to the long-term plan of the City Council, and we hope that we will have a bigger place so that it's all the people from different countries, and when they come here they can also have a place, because you know that here we have that is more than 200 students, and plus people from the public also comes in, so we have more than 500 people today estimated.
Bridget Rutherford, CTV News.
Look, I think I wanted us to just share that video because I think it gives us a strong sense of why we're here today and our role with refugee and migrant people in Christchurch. And I'd like, if I could, to talk briefly to the points that sit up there. This really is a once-only opportunity, and I need to paint a picture around Canterbury School's redevelopment. Hagley College has a $17 million partial redevelopment about to occur. Inside that redevelopment, we have said, with our long history of linking with refugee and migrant communities, of called communities, we have said to our master planners, building a multicultural centre to support a range of work that my colleagues will talk about today is something that should sit with this master plan. That $17 million must go towards teaching and learning spaces. It is to replace what we have, in a pretty unsatisfactory form in many cases, with classrooms and learning areas that are new and purpose-built. So that's the focus there. What we want to do, and I think that the equation is a really important one here, is that it's a once-only opportunity, because in essence, we have lobbied very strongly for this. We have said a prime corner of the Hagley College site, facing Hagley Park, is to be set aside for the development of this centre. And that must be factored in right from the get-go. It's really important too to understand how our board sees this as an initiative. What we are seeking from the council, and I must apologise for a typo, our initial QS exercise on this placed a costing of about $11 million on a full centre with teaching and learning spaces. We are seeking $7 million from the council to support the building of the centre, multi-agency spaces that sit with this. We put around that, one way of thinking about it, is $17 million of redevelopment money. This doesn't sit as an isolated space. This absolutely complements that centre. The land is free, and in fact there are precedents for ministry land. I've sought assurances from Coraline Child, Director of Education in Canterbury. I have a letter from Education Minister Chris Hipkins supporting the development in principle and acknowledging what a fantastic step this would be. So the other part of this too, and again this may well be attractive to council, is while this is a council, it's a centre for called communities. We need to make that very, very clear. The operational and the maintenance costs of this building will be taken over by Hagley. They will be, that will become part of our operation in terms of that costing. So we can offer that, and we have looked inside that. I speak for our Board of Trustees and the things I have said today. I need to add that too. So let me just make one more point in terms of that if we looked at the place of Christchurch and New Zealand and our, if you like, our super diverse and increasingly super diverse country and city, it's really, really important to note that we are moving, our city is moving, and it's noted in the multicultural strategy very clearly that the shape of our city is changing immensely and continues to change. And in fact, Ty, if you could move that on one further, that's reflected in our culturally and linguistically diverse populations in Christchurch too. I note with caution though, one of the findings in the feasibility study, and I thank the council for their part funding of this study last year, a feasibility study into the centre, which in the brief of that study was to look at the engagement from agencies and communities. But there was a strong theme in the responses around concerns for mental health. And look, we only have to look at I'll pick leading demographer Professor Paul Spoonley's words, who talks about the New Zealand is very good at bringing people into the country, but pretty poor at looking after them. And with new arrivals, refugee arrivals shadowed for Christchurch for 2019, I would suggest this centre is a very timely investment in a citywide council-funded community facility. And of course, for our existing called communities already in Christchurch. So a little more about Hagley, just to finish. We've been a regional hub for refugee and migrants and for education, for learning, for family support since 1979. We are a home to 65 different ethnicities in terms of our school. Our bilingual liaison workers who work across the city are based there. Many councillors sitting around the council chambers today know that and have seen that and are part of it too. We of course have day and night and weekend classes for called communities. We are genuinely a school for the city. We are not here advocating for central Christchurch. We are advocating for a space for called communities for the city. Our designated character status officially draws our role from throughout the city. That is reflected in this application here. I'd like to pause if I can, Madam Mayor, and introduce Dr. Surinder Townsend to continue with our presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for inviting me on behalf of the Multicultural Council to speak in support of your submission for the development of Multicultural Centre. Honourable Mayor, councillors, council staff, and fellow supporters of the multicultural sector. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Morina, namaste. And I'm sure my friend Mike has already greeted in many languages which are represented in Christchurch by over 180 ethnicities. And at this stage, I would like to remind you all and us that Christchurch City Council had actually helped establish Christchurch Multicultural Council, or Christchurch Ethnic Council formally, in 1988. And that time, the Auckland, Wellington, and Waikato Multicultural Councils were set up. So we acknowledge the support of Christchurch City Council for supporting multicultural communities, ethnic council, and also running forums like Intercultural Assembly, Inform meetings, which is the inter-agency network for refugee and migrant. And I would also like to acknowledge that, the support given by City Council for over the last 3 decades to ethnic and multi-ethnic events and other activities. So this is nothing new for City Council. We acknowledge that that you have you have supported the ethnic communities and agencies, and I would also like to acknowledge the development and the adoption of the multicultural strategy by the City Council and the Multicultural Council, as well as the other agencies working in the ethnic sector space are here to support the implementation of that. So we have come here to speak in support of the submission for the development of Multicultural Centre. Just before the earthquake in 2010-11, there used to be a refugee and migrant center, and but that closed down, and number of services offered by many ethnic sector agencies, had to keep on shifting from one place to other, and there is no central place for the new migrants or the refugees or their families or the settled migrants to go to seek help. And can you move on to this? So we are looking for a center which is not just an office space. It also would have hall and other facilities for running activities, events, meetings, forums, workshops, not only by the ethnic communities, but also by the agencies and also by the City Council or the government, the Hagley College and other Multicultural Council and other agencies continually running various capacity building programs for the new migrants and refugees and settled migrants. We see that very important program, and we would like to see that happening at a central place like a multicultural center. where people can, feel there is a place they belong to. And we are also, for example, very keen to run cultural competency programs, not just for the Pakia Kiwis or the natives to learn about the migrants' culture, but vice versa as well. We want the new migrants and the settled migrants and refugees to learn the Kiwiana thing as well, to learn the Tirio Maori and the Maori protocols, the Pacific island countries protocols and culture. So it's learning for everybody. Yeah. Can you move please? And we are looking for a multicultural center which is going to be suitable for all age groups, for both male and female, for as I said, all age groups, children, adults, senior citizens, elderly, male, female, people from different cultures and different faith groups. So the facilities will be there, which take care of cultural sensitivity, also faith sensitivity, gender sensitivity, where girls can feel safe to gather, and also for boys to learn the Kiwi way of learning, and also bring their own sports and other country games like kabaddi and other things. So it's a place for learning for everybody, for wider community members as well. So it's not just for migrants and refugees, it's for the wider community. And the big advantage of this place is going to be that the elderly people, will have a place to get together, to learn the life skills, to learn English, and share their own life stories with the wider community or with people from other cultures, and integrate into New Zealand society better and faster, share their experience. And they are here to contribute to the society, So, thank you. So, in summary, Multicultural Council, as I mentioned earlier, acknowledge the continued support from the City Council for multicultural communities and for agencies, and we look forward to your support for developing and building this multicultural center, which is a platform, a facility to be able to run the activities to meet the goals as stated in the Christchurch Multicultural Strategy document, which is of course a working document, and we are all here to support City Council. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alia from Afghanistan community. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today at the hearing of the submissions to the long-term plan of the city. I will speak for myself and for many other women from culture and linguistically diverse communities like Bhutan's, Nepal, Somalia, Eritrea, Ethiopia, China, and Korea, that I have the privilege to work with them, help them, and meet them, but they cannot be there today to speak up and raise their voice because of the language barriers, or because of the fact that they are living in isolation, not confident enough to step up and step out to ask for what we deserve as we are residents of the city, where we should feel belong to the care and care about. All is about just we want a place that we could use for many different purposes, responsive to the needs of our ethnic groups. Today, I am advocate for others. Those are my words, but not my voice. These are the voice are stuffed in the throat of many women in our communities. We need a place to go because we live in isolation. Nowhere to go. Especially we are worried about children and elderly people. Our elderly women just sit at home lonely as their living environment is different to Afghanistan, where the all houses was close and nearby each other, so they can gather and visit easily. So we need a place for elderly people to get out of their homes. We don't have a place for our different events. Our culture are different to European. We don't meet friends at bars and cafes. We have, during the year, we have 4 special days, which is Mother Days, in Ramadan celebration after we call Eid. This is our young people want to go in our community house because they don't want to, our young people don't want to go to the community house, which we have in Bashar Dale, because they don't want to be judged by other people. They are pointing always, the girls and boys, when they, whatever for their hairstyle, whatever for their clothes, and everything. We have a special celebration like Eid. We need to spend overnight here, but no place to go and have a celebration. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. One of the most important matter for us, which we need a place to maintain our language and cultures for young New Zealand-born children. For example, I teach for 10 years in Farsi school as a volunteer worker. And today I'm very proud that those students, I helped them and learned their own language, like Farsi. They are very successful at the moment in the society. They are very good. And I'm pleased which I done. And also, since the 10 years, we all seek support at Hagley. And for first years, we was at Pito, but when they moved, and we seek for help to Hagley. Likewise, many another language schools like Russian, Bhutanese, Iran, and also seeks similar support because renting place is very expensive and we can't afford it. Another things I would like to share with you, we are women, not free as a man, especially in our culture is completely different. We are owned by our husband, it's truly, yeah. Just I'm worried about young girls. They are talented, energetic, but they don't live in their boundaries, which controls them. They can't express themselves as they should and they deserve. They have not place that they feel safe to share their ideas, their dreams, and their wishes. They are young now, but still live in isolation and suffering from mental health problems. Even when they are suffering mental health problems, they can't share their problems because there is no safe place for them to talk and share and express their feelings. Unfortunately, in our prevalence, mental illness is considered a frenzy. We cannot share our feelings because we think it's stigma. We need a place to maintain our cultures and to freely show our cultures. We have a community house, but I think Yes, we have a community house, but the young girls not going there. I would like to give example today. Initially, we invited 4 girls to dance today and share our culture with you. But, yeah. But they refused because they don't feel safe to dance outside. Hagley is their homes. They feel connected, therefore they dance there, which we had in 12th of April. We had International Days. We had our girls had a good performance at Hagley. And not anywhere else. They don't feel safe, so that is the reason they refused. And instead, we will have some boys to dance today, and hope you will enjoy the dance of the boys, the end of our presentation. Sorry. This another important things applies for all to learn. We need a place to learn. The ways we learn to meet each other, learn from each other, and share advices with each other. All ages needs a place to learn. Most of us, especially women, can't drive. We cannot seek help because seeking help from others damage the pride of our husbands. That's true. Yes. It makes our husband angry. Living in New Zealand is completely different from Afghanistan. Like, we need a place where we meet each other to learn basic life skills in New Zealand, like cooking in New Zealand ways, learn driving, and learn computers, so that we can participate in New Zealand society. We need a place that whenever we have a problem and need help, we can go to. We need a place that whatever we have problems and need help, where can go. We wish we could have a central hub for refugee and migrants like in Melbourne, so that we can access services even after many years resettlement. We still can go back to seek information, help and services whenever we need a place for us and belong to us. Like, we have a pre-word in our language. It says, every beggar was like a sultan in his country. Like, the most important things at the moment is not me, just all the community concerned about our well-beings. We have a serious problem in domestic violence. There are a lot of women living in anti-depression for many, many years because they are like me, which when I'm the example, I'm just standing the high dose of tablets and medication. They can access to social services because we are women, not free as a man. We are isolated even in our homes. We're stuck in our culture and living in isolation. We can't participate in society. Therefore, the medication affects badly in our body, and we end up with high dose and high cost of the medical health care. This is very costly to the government too. Therefore, we need help in terms of domestic violence. We don't know where to go and where to seek help. For example, I am working as a liaison, as a health promotion with CRS, but I found very hard to take the domestic violence topic to their homes because I had very bad reaction from their mains. Yeah, if we have a space to have gathered the old women and we can share, they can share with us and we can share with them, they would be very nice. Therefore, we need a help, like, we don't know where to go and where to seek help. If we know the place, we can't access the services because the gender problems. This is another matter in issues. We are not free as a man. Men can sit in the room, but as a woman, we should sit in somewhere else. As a woman, we are nothing to men. We are owned by the men. This is part of our culture. Many elderly people can drive and can't ask for help because of husband anger. We can help each other if we have a safe place to meet in secret ways. Seek help as a part of school services, like during the school and after school. Most of the ladies desperately need urgent help because they are alone and isolated. Another issues and matter, we have a huge problems in accessing social services, but we need help. Once our well-being is improved, we can participate more actively in the society and help develop international relations with our home countries across the border. We have energetic and talented young people, but we want our young people get into the jobs and contribute to the society. Governments want to have economic capital. This cannot happen without positive well-being among us. Our well-being is a big social capital to the city, investment. And our well-being is investment in social, cultural, and economic capitals for the city where we are part of. Here are some voices that the residents of the city raised. We deserve a decent investment because we pay the rate to the city council. We understand that the financial means scarce and limited, but the priority for well-being by improving accessibility to social and cultural services of the utmost important, because it helps bring in benefits from all aspects, social, culture, and economics, and it helps to build the city inclusive for everyone, not just for one or other races or cultures. This is another big challenge, yes, I understand. It's a big challenge for all of us. Big communities like Chinese, that they have many people supporting them, but they still find it difficult. We are smaller groups, such a harder because we don't have money and don't have advocacy and don't have the resources. There are many small ethnic groups like us, like Bhutanese, Iranian, Nepalese, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kurdish, that we need help from the city council that should deserve. And finally, sorry I have many time, take your times. Thank you for your attention. I would like to invite Thai, Diversity Manager. She will present some key idea about the Multicultural Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Alia, and good morning, everyone. And I will be very quick because I don't want to. I would prefer to reserve some minutes so that we can ask questions to our team. So the key idea here, that is that I would like to just brainstorm, put some very initial key features of the design of the multicultural center. So based on the needs of the communities, either big communities or small communities, so that we all reflected based on that through our feasibility study. So we think that is we should have a place that is cater for all the purposes of the communities and the agency. So a hot seat arrangement for agency, so that is all the agency can also come in, and also the community can also come in and to share and to learn and what they think that is important, so that they can learn and also strengthen the communities among themselves through our own services that we just already available here at Hagley. And we think that it's a very good model, the very good model of operations, a very good model of partnership between the central government and local governments, and with the participations and involvement of the community. So we see that it's a really good investment for social capital and cultural capital, so which is where we can build Christchurch City become a very cultural inclusive and also a place of for all of us, so that we can feel that we belong to, either that we come from majority or we come from ethnic minorities. So that is, and we see that that's a very good opportunity, because why? Because this is Hagley redevelopment. So then we have the money and we have the support from the central government. And what we need here, that is very small part of our rate payment and rate contributions to contribute to what the community would like to have it. So you can see there that it is the Christchurch City Council input that we're looking between 6 or 7 million, not in one short payment, but also over the years, starting next year, 2019, across a couple of years. And the place that we look for, that is just a reception and welcome area, so that all the community can feel at a place and belonging, so that they feel safe. Like even the girls, the example that Alia just said, so that they can dance at Hagley. They can dance at Hagley, they can perform at Hagley, but they cannot be there here. Even that is, they know that is the city council, that is their place as well, but they don't feel safe. So that is the reception, welcoming area is very important, and also small meeting place, because in our country we don't go to bar, we don't go to yeah. So that is the that is some issues or ideas. So feel free to have any questions. So you can. Or would you like to have a dances, or we can also have?
Yeah, we'll have the dance.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So dancers are from Afghanistan, Iran and Pakistan. Thank you. That's good, very good. These young men are in our age 17 to 21. They're in our full-time adolescent program. They've been learning English and maths and other learning areas for the last 2 years. Sophia, who is a full-time adult student, is in our foundation course. Sophia. concludes our presentation. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, well, look, we've really only got a couple of minutes for questions, but I want to invite Councillor Jimmy Chen. I can assure you that he has been an extremely strong advocate for this particular submission. So,
okay,
Jimmy.
You. Yeah. Thank you so much for your the group the submission with comprehension the information. I have two questions. First one, based on your mic and also Thai, your presentation seeking the funding from the council.
Yes.
One mentioned particular, typo mistake, $7 million.
Correct.
But Thai, you are flexible, $6 to $7 million. Actually, you're seeking is a $6 or $7 million.
Jimmy, the costing there is based on a QS exercise that we did initially to scope the facility. Clearly, the costing, the indication to us is it would be $7 million as a top figure to develop the centre as we've described today.
Okay, thank you. Second question is I reviewed the written submission, particularly on page 20, regarding to those stakeholders, particularly in refugee and migrant support sector list. Some of the key person has been changed. Whether new ones still fully support this new multicultural center built in Hagley College?
Yes, of course, but because we have a very extensive consultations with all those agencies. So we have here in the list that you will see that is 162 responses. That is including also the 33 different agencies, all in the whole sector. So we also presented in the inform meeting. So that is the interagency meeting who are active, even old, even new player in the sector.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your answer. Okay.
Can I add to the members of the multicultural communities representing over 180 ethnicities, as well as the agencies, in the ethnic sector, and our council and others, everybody support the need for the multicultural center, not just an office space, but also a place where people can gather and have fellowship and celebrate their cultures with others. Yeah. So individuals may, move from one office to other office or agency, but the support is there from the offices. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah?
Thank you, and there is definitely a need for a space like this within the city. I've just had a couple of questions. You've mentioned that you'd cover the operational and maintenance kind of side of things. Does that cover the, so that the old migrant centre, for example, had 6 paid staff members that helped coordinate activities and those kind of things. How does that work within this space?
I can't comment about how the centre previously worked, because that was obviously a funding stream from there. Look, operationally, in terms of our operational funding within the school, we look at that in quite a different fashion. For example, Taipan, who is our diversity manager, employed as part of our Hagley operational staffing. We just see that as a really pretty critical, important part of our operation. We, in our costings of this and our scoping of how we would staff that, we're confident that within our, and I'm not suggesting that the Ministry of Education funds us generously, let me put that, nor do they fund us differently. No. It's based on our full-time equivalent student number within the school. But we believe, and we've looked at this pretty closely, that we're in a position to cover that off in terms of our staffing working within this centre to operate our maintenance, our caretaking staff, etc.
That's great. And what happens if we're not able to contribute the whole sort of 6 to 7 million, even over several years? What happens to this kind of plan or design? So either if we decide, if we weren't able to fund it all, or whether it was sort of half the amount, what would happen to this current plan?
Look, I think there always has to be compromise and flexibility. Clearly, there is a preferred position here. I can make no bones about that. But I hope today you've got a sense of our long-term commitment to what we're trying to do here. So we will endeavour to make anything work, but equally, I have to say, there is a strongly preferred position.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
that was, yeah, oh, sorry.
Excuse me, can I also add for that? That's one of the very big costs for the operations, that is the staff and human resource to manage that. And that's my position already. And also that is a key important here, that is bilingual community liaison worker, which is, we have a team there already available at Hagley. So that is the key things, that is, yeah.
And we also have very key, strong, hard-working volunteers from the ethnic sector, who are happy to work there, to provide advocacy role. And also, as mentioned earlier, the various agencies will get an opportunity to, use the facility for what you call as a hot desk, go there twice a week, so yeah, so they are already paid staff.
And other places like Rata and lotteries also being approached?
No, look, in many respects, we see the council's role inside their support for communities as being a critical role. We have gone there. We're bringing in, if you like, our offer is land, maintenance, operational, and the benefit of a $17 million rebuild which sits around that. So the users of this facility will be richly used 7 days a week. This isn't start at 3 o'clock. This is concurrent. I need to make that really clear. And the benefit of working within school teaching and learning and recreation spaces in the new Hagley. So that's why it's such a once only.
The indication that we're getting from you is what the extent of the need is. How that is put together is something that you're asking the council to look at.
Yes,
yeah, no, thank you very much. It's been an incredibly powerful presentation, very well researched and organised. Can I thank our performers for entertaining us? We don't normally have entertainment at our council meetings, but thank you very much. It's been very well. That's usually initiated from around the table, and it isn't always enjoyable. That was so. Thank you very much for that. And can I thank Mike, Surinder, Tai, but I particularly wanted to thank Alia for an incredibly powerful and moving presentation to us this morning, and please offer reassurance to the women dancers who would have come if they'd felt safe, that they are entitled to feel safe in their city. So thank you very much for presenting today. Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening.